This is Made in America with Neal Asbury and Rich Roffman.
Welcome to Made in America. I'm your host, Neal Asbury, together with co-host Dr. Rich Roffman. Rich, man, we got an incredible show. You know, talking about small businesses and entrepreneurialism and the things that really make our economy click and work, and the wealth and creating the jobs and the prosperity and the security that we need in our country. We got to take care of our entrepreneurial community, our small businesses, backbone of our country, always have been, always will be. And our first guest coming on today has created a product that's helping our small businesses through the pandemic to compete in the digital world. And it's a real, since the pandemic, the e-commerce and the digital world and digital marketing and, just doing business transactions in your local community digitally, I mean, it's the way to go. I mean, right? I mean, it's not in person. Everything's digital and everything's
Well, if you're
online.
not part of it, you're not part of it. I mean, if you're not part of it, you're not part of the retail. I mean, if you can't handle that and grasp the concepts that you need to have and the tools, which is a good segue to our guest, tools that you need to have to make it work for you, then you're in a lot of trouble. You're going to be in a world of hurt going down that road.
Exactly.
So this is good.
So let's introduce Tomme Sheehan, who is the CEO of YOUnion, based out of Dallas, Texas. Tomme, welcome to Made in America.
Thanks for having me.
So Tomme, tell us how you're helping our small business and entrepreneurial community with your product.
Well, let me actually tell you a quick story. So during the pandemic, I was in the south side of Chicago. My mother had passed away, so when that happened, I was actually asked by a bunch of small business owners who I'd known most of my life that I was a technology guy, because I was actually retired. And they came to me telling me all of the issues that were going on. And one of the major issues was that when COVID hit, they had to close down their stores, and they weren't exactly sure what to do. So we had to build a package that taught people that were non-technical how to use digital technologies. So Dr. Rich was correct. We built a tool for small businesses to be able to service their customers digitally. And then we found out the other part was not only do we have to service them digitally and let them use technology, we had to manage their cash flow problems. So we had to not just give them the digital tool, we also had to then figure out how to manage the liabilities associated with servicing businesses digitally.
So let me ask you a question. Do you tie in into the local banks that these folks are part of, and you get recommended by the banks? Because I know then when we were starting up another division that we used something that seems like it would be part of what you did, which was Clover, but it was Clover Merchant Services, and that was done through the bank. So whatever we did with Clover immediately hit our account the next day. And it had a complete accounting, although we had a major accounting firm that handled all our accounting. But we got an immediate accounting and history of every process that went through.
Exactly. So what we do is we create what's called a connected account. So we connect our bank account to your bank account, and we act as what's called the merchant of record. So we take all the liabilities on for the merchant. So let me give you an example of the difference. If we have the liability versus a marketplace, which is what Clover would be, or Shopify or Grubhub or any of those. When a customer complains, we actually manage that dispute, and we're responsible for that. Whereas today, you've probably heard lots of different stories. If the customer is unhappy with the small business owner has to eat the costs, and the small business owner is left to actually defend themselves. We handle that for them. That's number one. And number two, yes, we move all of the money, and we create that digital connection between their bank and our bank. And then we give them all of that taxation so that they can export it, give it to their tax accountant, or they can put it into QuickBooks, or they can,
Exactly.
we export it out as an Excel file, yes.
And not only that, we have, and I still have it, it's on my phone, a mobile app that at any given time as an owner or an administrator, I can tap in, see what's happening in real time, what's been processed, what's outstanding. I get a complete backup for the clients that have signed up and worked with us that way for their payments. And then we got into a rhythm, and it worked fairly well because Neal has hundreds and hundreds of people working. I have 26, and so we're a different size company. But the cash flow is the lifeblood of a system. So I would think, coming through this pandemic, when everybody in the SMEs were, really, clawing to get every dollar that they can and try and maintain cash flow, which at the very best was very hard for at least 3 or 4 months out of last year. I would say that the ability for us to work electronically with a program that you're discussing truly, and this, I'm not pandering, I'm telling the truth, it helped get through the peaks and valleys that we are experiencing for just a short period of time until people stopped, took a deep breath, put their head into a paper bag, breathed easily, and they found out that life will go on, and they figured out how to do that. So it's a good tool.
Yeah, I think it's. I'll tell you the other part that what we're learning. So we've gone through 15 versions of this during the pandemic. So we built it during the pandemic. So there's 23 of us that moved during COVID down to Dallas, Texas. We locked ourselves in a room and we built the package. And we've now released it 15 times in a closed environment to be able to make sure that the other part of it, which is the liabilities. So think of it as now your operations. I don't know exactly what kind of businesses you guys have, but we built a monitoring app that does operations as well. So when an order comes in, you get the acknowledgement of it, and then you're able to watch the workers do the work until it's fulfilled, whether it's pickup, takeout, delivery, it's an appointment, something scheduled, there's a request, all of that too. So what we found is that even after the pandemic, parts of the digital infrastructure is gaining efficiencies for small businesses. They're actually able to do more with less employees, or they're able to fill the gap and able to produce more services while they're understaffed. I guess either way you want to say that we found that that's actually something that's being more and more asked for, so we keep devising it. So the good news is that every 2 weeks, Fred, I get to hear from a lot of small businesses as to what they're actually doing, and we're able to react that quickly and create those features for them.
So, Tomme, I can tell you, finding employees right now is very, very difficult, right? And just in about 10 seconds, kind of just wrap it up for us, Tomme, if you could.
So YOUnion is made for owners. So just because the customer always is right, didn't have to make the owner wrong. So we think of ourselves as a pro owner platform to help them, figure out what their best products and best customers are, and be able to service them digitally so that we can keep the majority of the money in the local community. And that's what YOUnion was built for. It's the unification between buyer, seller, and community. So we're trying to make that top of mind. Instead of thinking e-commerce, to think local commerce.
Exactly. Local commerce. Keep it local. That's a very, very good thing. Keep it local and make our entrepreneurs more efficient. Hey, Tomme, thanks a lot. Tomme Sheehan from the CEO of YOUnion out of Dallas, Texas. Thanks for being with us, Tomme.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a good day.